The message for tonight or this morning's live stream is that we begin again. We begin again because now the floor has been cleared. We begin again because now the race is on. We begin again because no more will we be double-teamed, triple-teamed, and four-teamed. We begin again because now it comes down to Bernie Sanders and Joseph Biden, what it should have always been to begin with. And now we will see what is what. Now we will see who will be the nominee of the Democratic Party. No more will people say Bloomberg got a chance. This guy did horribly. There's a lot of ways to waste $300 million, Johnson. I suggest you come up with an easier way than to place ads and make other people rich by placing ads that get you nothing except Samoa. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Samoa's great, and I'm sure the people of Samoa are great people. But if you got to spend $300 million to get Samoa, I mean, maybe, just maybe, yeah. So, here we are, guys. Here we are, Johnson & Johnson. We are here. I trust that my people on Facebook and YouTube are all present and accounted for. I see you guys on Facebook. I heard you on YouTube. So while some of us are down in the dumps, I want to cheer you up by telling you the reality is this is what it's all about. It's about this right now. See, before, guys, we were operating in a make-believe world. We were operating in a world where there were all these people on the stage, and every man was for themselves, or every woman was for themselves. This was not true. No, this was not true, guys. Nothing could be further from the truth. It was never every man and every woman for themselves. It was always everyone against Bernie Sanders, except save for maybe Tulsi Gabbard. This is how it always was. There's a lot of Bernie stoppers out there. They showed themselves eventually, didn't they? Some have still not admitted it, but we see it. The floor has cleared. The two dancers remain, and we will see what is what. See, before we were under the impression that maybe Kamala Harris or Cory Booker or, Pete Buttigieg or somebody, Amy Klobuchar, some of these people were, really trying to win the nomination for themselves, but obviously they all lined up behind Joe Biden, so they all formed behind Joe Biden. They were always behind Joe Biden. I mean, maybe not Kamala Harris in the beginning. And you see what happened to her, don't you? You see what happened to her when she bucked the system. Bye, Kamala. So here we are, guys. The way it always was. We just didn't know it was. I got a feeling Bernie Sanders knew. So instead of feeling down about it, accept the challenge for what it is and realize that now it's on. Yeah, now it's on. But see, I told you last night, it's counterintuitive, but the best way to be is a contrast. It's not trying to get everybody to like you, but to be very distinctive, to be very different, to be very clear about what separates you from them. This is going to come down to Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump. It always was. It always will be. Biden and Trump are too similar. There's not enough contrast. There's too many weak points on Joe Biden. First of all, Joe Biden can't beat Bernie Sanders with an electorate that really is informed. If that electorate takes one look at the record, they got to go with Bernie. They would have to. So it's going to be our job to get out the word to all of our friends, to everyone across this country of who Joe Biden really is. We can't leave it to mainstream media, corporate media to do it. They won't do it, Johnson. They refuse to do it. They refuse to talk about NAFTA. They refuse to talk about the failed trade deals. All of the ammunition that Trump used to get elected, he can use again on Joe Biden. All those things, the Iraq war, he used that against Hillary. He'll be able to use it against Joe Biden. I bet it'd still be effective too. See, Joe Biden won't be able to hide behind a terrible record. No, not when it's just him and Bernie on the stand or on the stage. He also won't be able to hide behind other people on the stage. No one else on that stage will matter. I'm sorry if there'll be anybody at all. I heard Elizabeth Warren is thinking about dropping out as well. More about that later. He won't be able to hide behind his can't get out a sentence. The decline, the steep decline, the lack of coherence on topics, it's going to be all brought to bear. And finally, guys, people will be paying more attention to the debates, not just us diehard political folks. Other people will pay attention because now this is it. And this is where Joe Biden will be exposed for who he is. A man with a horrible record, with a horrible past, creepy Joe with bad votes and all, a bad decision maker, a corporate darling. All these things are going to come to bear, and America's going to have to make a decision. But to top it all off, even if all of that doesn't work, because I have no faith that people pay attention to records and what people have done, even if they've sent their children to war to come back mutilated, both physically and mentally, by war that was unnecessary. I'm sure they'll give a pass for that. Maybe, just maybe, they'll want to get rid of Donald Trump enough to vote for the person who's more likely to beat Donald Trump and is polling better against Donald Trump. That person ain't Joe Biden. It just ain't. And maybe that'll be the story of the day. Maybe that'll be important to people who have been spoon-fed this notion that you get rid of Trump, you get rid of all the problems in the world. Because none of those problems existed before Trump. And maybe finally it'll benefit progressives that this narrative has been spun. Maybe not, but maybe. We hold on to faith here. Hold on to faith that they really want to get rid of Donald Trump. So here's the deal, man. We're going up against Joe Biden now. No more playing around, no more jokey jokes. We're going up against a guy who's not built for this. We're going up against a campaign that's not built for this. They have very little fundraising. They had very little infrastructure. They have very little what it's going to take to run the board. They don't have what it takes to beat Bernie, let alone beat Trump. Kind of hard to take the high road with a candidate when you're just as low as him, with allegations of sniffing people's hair. Hey, what do they have on Bernie? Except Bernie's a kooky socialist who wants to, supports things like fire departments and, instead of K through 12, K through community college. Real scary, spooky stuff. Spooky stuff that's done in all countries across the world. Like healthcare. Really spooky socialist stuff like if you're hurt, you can go see a doctor. Scary stuff that scares Americans. Then they go over to Sweden and they got it. Then they go to Canada and they got it. Then they go to anywhere else in most of the developed Western world and they got it already. But here, it's spooky, scary, socialist communism stuff. So look, guys, this is what we want. We want a matchup of stark differences in ideology where the rubber meets the road and no one can hide behind anything. Look what it took. It took all of it. Everything. It took Buttigieg to drop out and throw his support behind Biden. It took Klobuchar to drop out and throw her support behind Biden. It took Beto O'Rourke to resurface, regenerate himself, and come out and throw himself behind Biden. It took Hillary Clinton going on Good Morning America this morning, bashing Bernie once again to try to thwart Bernie Sanders once again. It took all of that, and still we neck and neck, and we're going to still win not only California but Texas. Sure, I'm disappointed we didn't win Minnesota. I'm disappointed we didn't win Maine. I thought we would. I thought we'd take Massachusetts. I'm more disappointed Elizabeth Warren stayed in to do third in her own state. Despicable. Shameful even. Elizabeth Warren came in fourth in Alabama, fourth in Arkansas, fourth in Maine, third in her own state, fourth in North Carolina, fourth in Oklahoma, fourth in Tennessee, fourth in Texas, third in Vermont, and third in Virginia. And when I put out a tweet saying maybe she should support Bernie and drop out yesterday, people said I was wrong. Well, you know what you may have got? You may have just made it possible for her to lose her Senate seat. Good for you. Good for you. Good way to go. So not only did you not endorse Bernie, you may have lost your own Senate seat because you have no credibility, and so much for being a kingmaker now. No one can owe you anything. You can't even win your own state. You suck. That's what that's called. Who needs you if you can't even bring your own state with you? You can't even do two. You can't come in second in your own state. Jesus Mugabe. That's horrible. That's horrific. That's pathetic. And to think there are people who hold a grudge with me because I said horrible things about Elizabeth Warren as if they were horrible. That's because I say she has the backbone of a jellyfish and the ethics of a backstabbing scumbag snake. And then she does that. She does exactly the thing I told you she'd do, was put her own ambitions in front of everything else. Not only did she steal the man's policies, she made it possible for him to lose many Minnesota, Massachusetts, and Maine. We would have carried those if it weren't for Elizabeth Warren in this race. I believe that. But hey, no one owes you anything. No one owes you to get out the way. No one owes you support. So it is what it is. Well, I'm inspired, guys. I'm inspired because I realized something. This is the best way to be, man. Sometimes you got to burn your boats. Sometimes the best fighting's done with your back against the wall. Sometimes you got to go for it when there's nothing else to lose. And believe me, guys, there's nothing else to lose. It's going to be a mad dash to the end of this thing. I'm mad dash, and I'm trying to tell you now is when Biden goes down. I don't believe Biden can take a lead. He would have never been able to do this without the entire establishment circling the wagons, and I don't believe, guys, I'm sorry, I just don't believe that Biden can maintain a lead. The more he talks, the worse he does. Every time he opens his mouth, he drops points. I don't believe Biden can hold a lead. There's no one else to come out for him except Obama. And basically, Clyburn Jr. Obama, so that already happened. So what we're faced with now, guys, is a reality check of great potential. It's going to be very useful. We need this. Because believe me, beating Trump would be hard. So if you're upset, fine, I'm upset too. Can you tell? It's cool to be upset. It's motivational. It gives you focus. But know this, if you're thinking this is hard as hell, this is harder than you thought it would be, cool, good. Because beating Trump would be just as hard, if not harder. Know that, okay? Know that. They threw everything they could at Trump over the last couple of years. They've built a very resilient voter base for Donald Trump by throwing all of these fake gaslighting attacks at Trump. And now his people are flame retarded. So, but what I do know is that we have a Bernie Sanders campaign that's resilient and tough, and it's going to stay in there. And I'm going to tell you this, guys, we're still no Joe. We're still no Joe. Want a no Joe button? Send me an email with your address where to mail it to. Send your email to tim@timblacktv.com, and we'll send you a button. Look, guys, I was watching a video of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was talking like a man who was down at all. He was talking like someone who was rejuvenated, like someone who knows something, a guy who realizes that, hey, the best thing you want to do is you just want a shot at the title, man. You just want to be in the ring. You just want to be there. And you can say what you want, do what you want, but at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. Facing off the establishment versus the anti-establishment. People are going to have to choose and let America make that choice. What do they want? They want the guy that got the car in the ditch, or you want the guy who's trying to get it out the ditch? It's going to be that simple. And it's going to be, do you want the guy who led us to Trump? Because that's what Obama and Joe Biden did, is they put together what was necessary, the environment necessary for Trump to rise to power. That's what they did. And at the end of the day, you're going to say, you think that guy who was the vice president, along with the president, that put the car in the ditch, that put Trump in the White House, that made the perfect storm of corporate bailouts, the perfect storm of Wall Street coddling, the perfect storm of income inequality, the perfect storm that created such the conditions that gave us Donald Trump. You want that VP. You think America's going to pick him over Trump? I don't think they will. And that'll be what Bernie Sanders is going to have to tell them. It sounds like he's ready to tell him, Johnson.
You know, it's a funny thing. 31 years ago today, we won the mayoral race in Burlington, Vermont. And we won that race against all of the odds. Everybody said it couldn't be done. And when we began this race for the presidency, everybody said it couldn't be done. But tonight, I tell you with absolute confidence, we are going to win the Democratic nomination. And we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country.
Yeah, they're going to have to make their minds up, Johnson, if they really believe that Donald Trump is as bad as they say. Because it's going to come down to choosing the guy that will all but guarantee that Donald Trump gets a second term, or the guy that can stop him. And the only guy that can stop him is built to stop him, that has enough contrast between himself and Donald Trump in order to pull it off, is Bernie Sanders. No one else is positioned to do it. No one else has the infrastructure to do it. No one else is locked and loaded with a background that's sufficient enough to do it. No one else has the robust volunteer, fundraising, grassroots, rooted to the tutor support that Bernie Sanders hasn't to even get close to doing this. No. They will have to admit finally, either they want to stop Donald Trump or they don't. And the whole world should get to see it. So at the end of the day, we win either way, because either it's totally exposed for what they really are, where people leave in masses in frustration and anger, finally accepting what's going on when Jim Clyburn cannot camouflage it any longer. The complicity of the Democratic Party and to the demise of the working people will have been exposed for what it is. So either that will happen or they will coalesce around Bernie Sanders and they will push that man to victory, and these neoliberals will have to get out the way and Bernie will do the job which needs to be done, or vice versa. Vice versa, they will be forever exposed. And I was listening to Bernie Sanders. He was telegraphing. He was saying some things I was saying just yesterday. Some things I said tonight, but things I said yesterday before he even said them, about contrast, about a sharp contrast between himself and Joe Biden. And that's what we're talking about. You need a point of differentiation. Bernie Sanders is on point on this.
You know, it's a funny thing. But we're going to win because the people understand it is our campaign, our movement, which is best positioned to defeat Trump. You cannot beat Trump with the same old kind of politics. What we need is a new politics that brings working class people into our political movement, which brings young people into our political movement, and which in November will create the highest voter turnout in American political history. So we're going to beat Trump because this will become a contrast in ideas. One of us in this race led the opposition to the war in Iraq. You're looking at him. Another candidate voted for the war in Iraq. One of us has spent his entire life fighting against cuts in Social Security, wanting to expand Social Security. Another candidate has been on the floor of the Senate calling for cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and Veterans Programs. One of us led the opposition to disastrous trade agreements which cost us millions of good-paying jobs. And that's me. And another candidate voted for disastrous trade agreements.
See, we are going to waste time talking about who's got small hands or weird haircut or who mama dressed him funny. No, we're not going to waste time with that. We're going to talk about policy. We're going to talk about what you voted for, what you stood for, what you did, not what you said. And when it comes down to that, well, Joe Biden won't have a leg to stand on. In fact, he'll be legless. You know, it's always amazing to me where Democrats pretend that for some reason when Bernie Sanders makes these points of contrast, they pretend that he's the only one who knows these things. Yeah, as if they did the same thing in 2016. They come to the conclusion that when Bernie says, hey, you voted for this horrible trade deal or you supported this horrible NAFTA deal, they get upset and they say, he's only helping Trump. As if Trump can't work the computer. Like he can't use the Google or the DuckDuckGo or the Yahoo. As if he can't do his own internet searches. Anything that Bernie Sanders uses here is the same stuff that Trump's going to use. I mean, who are we kidding? Biden is Hillary, Hillary is Biden. And that's an easy win, Johnson. Did anybody get what I'm saying? Biden is Hillary, and Hillary is Biden. You don't think that's what Trump's going to do? But you know who that wouldn't work with? It wouldn't work with Bernie Sanders. In fact, he'd have to come up with a whole new playbook, an untried playbook. I'm not saying he wouldn't come up with plays, but they'd be shots in the dark. It'd be stuff he had to pull out of his butt cheeks. Yeah, he wouldn't be able to just be able to dust off his 2016 playbook and just run the same old down and out. That's exactly what he's going to do with Biden if Biden were to become the nominee. You know, I wanted so badly to go to South Carolina and have an opportunity to talk to folks on the ground and tell them all these things. By the time I got there, it was like all I could do was cover what was happening. Didn't have the opportunity really to sway people like I thought I could. Maybe it's foolish of me to think that people would want to hear the truth about Joe Biden. Hey, I'm not suggesting that people didn't try to tell him. I mean, Jesus Christ, guys. Reality is reality here. I just hope going on from here on out, hope that people start getting the message that we have to double down our efforts. We have to try even harder. You got to try even harder to let people be aware of what's happening. Because I don't believe that free-thinking people would vote against a candidate who wants to legalize marijuana in this day and time. I can't believe it. I strongly see suspect anyone who says they care about people of brown people or black people or poor people at all who would support Joe Biden, who's against legalizing marijuana, expunging the criminal records of people who have possession of marijuana, and giving them an opportunity to make a living in an industry that's destined to make billions. Any person, particularly African-American black person, who would open their mouth to say that Biden's a better choice. I can't stand those folks, man, who prop up this guy. I just can't stand him. But I got to give it to Simone Sanders, even though I find her unethical, careerist, out for herself, which is most people. Let's keep it real, Johnson. But I got to give it to her. She's got good tackling skills.
And unions built the middle class. In the neighborhoods we come from, the three... Well, let's see. We're going to go.
Yeah, you know, all political affiliations, all support aside, yeah, Simone Sanders, she grabbed the hell out of that girl, didn't she? Yeah. Grabbed that woman like, yeah. You saw her just, got her, dragged her off stage. She dragged her all the way down the scaffolding, down the corner, back past the nearest Waffle House, dragged her all the way across the state. Jesus, Simone Sanders, the win. But I'm going to tell you this, all of that forward tackling or blocking and tackling and that great defense that she showed there, the safety, the strong safety skills, Simone Sanders will not be able to do that to the truth. The truth is going to come for Joe Biden, and no Simone Sanders, no Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, nobody will be able to stop the truth from tackling Joe Biden. Joe Biden's going to get tackled with the truth. Best believe that's going to happen. It's time for it to happen. It's long overdue. Godspeed. So, folks, take heart, burners of all stripes. We're in this to win this. We've been saying the only revolutions that are easier revolutions that never happen. I've been saying that since 2015. No one said it was going to be easy, Johnson, just that it would be worth doing. No one said it would be easy, Johnson, just that we had to do it. So let's show up and let's grow up. Time to blow it up. We're here for the duration. We're going all the way, and this is the match you want. A true fighter just wants an opportunity to stand in the ring, and that's what we have. So now we know this. We know it's not going to be fair. We know it's going to be far from impartial, but it is an opportunity. So we got to take it for what it's worth. And to my friends out there, and yes, I'm gonna call you friends. To those people out there who are bitter. To those of you who feel Tim Black wasn't nice enough to me and my candidate. I'm glad that Bernie's having a hard time going at this thing. I'm going to leave you with this. I support Bernie Sanders not because he's like a football team, not because this is a sporting event, because this is no sporting event. I support Bernie Sanders because I believe he's the best shot for your children and my children and all children, for the climate, for the earth, for every animal, every man, woman, the sky, the sun, the water, all of it. I believe that Bernie's the best chance we have in this field, bar none. So, for you to clap or for you to feel vindicated somehow in this is shameful and it's sad, because this is not personal. This isn't about your team losing and my team winning. This is about all of us winning. And Joe Biden would mean we're all losing. And if you don't get that, then you have confirmed every bad thing said about you, your campaigns, and those that you support. Because that's the existential threat. The existential threat they keep talking about is not just Trump, it's the system. Fight the power. If you want political commentary that is real, insightful, honest, true, Bernie, progressive, you need to come to my channel today, subscribe, and you will get that. I'm Tim Black. I support you. I got your back. We are the voice of the people. Feel the burn. See you there. Johnson. By popular demand, Johnson is here. I have new Johnson designs in my shop. If you want to pick them up, check them out. They are hilarious. They are revolutionary. And they're all Johnson. You're going to love them, man. Check them out. Both parties suck, Johnson. It's one of my favorites. Independent media only, Johnson. Keep it real. We are all Johnson. We are. We're one big community, guys. Go check it out. Independent media only. Johnson's in the house. Both parties suck, Johnson. We are here. They got a special going on right now. Free shipping. Get it today. Wolfpack.